everyone.
Welcome back.
We are excited to be here tonight. We got a pretty cool episode ready for you guys tonight. We've got a special guest in house tonight. That is my sister, Brandi.
Hi, everybody.
She is a master of tarot cards. We thought we'd bring her in to talk to us a little bit about tarot readings, tarot cards. We got some questions lined up. She's got some stuff that she wants to talk about lined up. So get ready, strap in, guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally don't know that much about tarot, so I'm learning along with everybody else.
I don't know a whole lot. I know some. I have my own tarot deck, and I do pull every once in a while, but 9 times out of 10, I call her and I'm like, okay, what's this mean?
Well, that's okay. You guys have one in the family. You don't have to know that much. I'm always around for y'all.
She's done a couple, events where she's read tarot cards for, people outside of the family. Brittany has gone to one of these events and gotten a reading from her. Mm-hmm. She's pretty legit, but I will tell you, I don't know that we'll do, let her do a reading for either of us on this tonight, because it packs a punch and no shits are given. It hurts your feelings sometimes.
In my estimation, a good tarot card reading should almost feel like a visit to the therapist. It's not like I'm saying I have letters behind my name or anything like that. It's not me. But realistically, it's more like a conversation. I've heard several people say, it feels like a visit to the therapist.
Yeah, I would have to concur.
It'll definitely make you feel some things and do some deep searching within yourself to reevaluate your life here.
Well, that's what it's about.
But do you have? Nope. I did all.
I have absolutely nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna start us off here, and Brandi, you're more than welcome to butt in at any point. We just kind of carry on a conversation while we're doing this. But I've got some information that I found about tarot. So I learned a few things about it. Tarot cards were not originally designed as a fortune-telling tool. They were a card game called Tarocchi, Tarocchi, in the 15th century. The earliest proof of them being used as a tool of divination is in the 18th century. The cards, and Brandi may repeat some of this, but the cards are divided into 2 different suits, if you will, the major and minor arcanas. I saw a thing telling me, and we'll link all my references and stuff to the episode, but I read that the archangels are the major arcana. Temperance would be Michael, the devil would be Uriel, judgment would be Gabriel, and the lovers would be Raphael. The minor arcana shows the 4 elements and has a common connection for each. The cups would be water, and they kind of talk about emotional issues and development. The pentacles are earth, and they deal with money and income. And swords are air, and they deal with conflict and overthinking. Wands are fire, and it kind of deals with work issues and ambition. And that might not always be the case depending on decks and the way that the person who's reading them does read them. This, may just be a matter of opinion or how you feel on it. Tarot in and of itself, you don't necessarily have to be a spiritual person to read. We've had a lot of people saying that it's the work of the devil.
Yes. Because at the reading that I went to in our small town, our lovely small town,
we've mentioned several times we're in the Bible Belt.
As I left, there were scripture cards on the table outside the door, and I said, "Oh, that's just so sweet."
It's better than the process that was originally planned.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, well, to me, it's not really it's not really a thing that you necessarily have to be spiritual to do. I mean, it may help, and it's, you know, definitely something that you feel the cards are being directed by your spirit guides, and that's if that's the way you want to see it, that's the way you want to see it. It can be just for fun. The results are not promised. And they leave you to make your own interpretation, or, you know, draw your own opinion on the reading that you got. There is something else I read, and we've had this discussion several times, especially leading up to you getting me my first tarot deck, which is Nightmare Before Christmas themed, because I love it, and she knows that. You can buy your own deck. We heard there is a rumor, I guess you would say, an old wives' tale, whatever, that your first deck has to be gifted to you. And that's kind of how we went with it. I did buy Brittany an oracle deck for, I believe, her birthday.
Yeah.
But they don't have to be gifted. It's a matter of preference, I guess. Really and honestly, the deck itself needs to call out to you. And, you know, you should feel a connection with that deck, which I definitely do with these. Brittany did a good job finding these, and she actually picked out her own oracle deck.
Yeah.
That I bought her. But it was just a matter of, I'm the one that hit the buy now button.
Well, you picked out like several for me to choose from.
Yeah.
And and one of your top picks was something. It was Amanda Lovelace is a poet that I really enjoy. And it was a deck that she put out, and I was like, that's the one.
Your deck that you have, I will say, it is very you. Did you buy those for yourself?
I picked it out, and my husband bought it for me.
There you go. But yeah, and you definitely feel a connection with yours. It is so obvious, because your cards hurt my feelings on a normal. But they are very hers. They're like a housewife type, like a, what do you want to say, like almost pinup style housewife type.
Or, yeah, very retro.
Yeah. Vintage.
They're super cute. If she doesn't mind, we may take a picture of them and post them.
No, not at all.
With our stuff.
They originally came in what was like a little recipe box with divider cards for the major arcana, the minor arcana, and the guidebook. It's pretty cute. It looks like an old-timey recipe box.
We'll share a picture with you guys so you can see. But I think that is all that I had prepared. What do you have for us, sister?
Okay, I thought you guys were going to ask me questions.
We will.
We can go. The main thing of the tarot is when you are working with a Rider-Waite traditional deck, basically the cards all have meanings. It's a story that you can learn. So, as she was saying, you don't have to be a spiritual person or a psychic or a medium or anything crazy like that to be able to read tarot and read tarot well. The cards tell a story. The cards all have meanings. You do need to somewhat learn those meanings. Some people use the guidebook. There are resources out there to just straight up learn the story, and I found that a much easier way to do it. What she said about connecting with your deck is absolutely the truth. This deck is quite honestly probably like the fourth one I ever got, and I never got good at tarot until I got this one.
I remember when I was younger. Remember you having
the Celtic Fairy deck?
Yes, and I kept asking you about it, and you were like, I don't want to mess with it. I haven't connected with it.
Yeah, I still can't read it. To this day, I have picked it up and tried, even after working as a professional tarot reader and getting paid money for what I do. I still can't read that deck. It is not traditional. It does not follow a system. It does not follow the story. Now, if you were a Celtic pagan and you knew all the stories of all the gods and goddesses and all the lore and all the mythology, it might make a lot more sense, but I don't. Right. I can't.
That makes sense.
So many extra cards.
I wonder, too, if it had something to do with the fact that you were not as strong in your walk as you are now. I know that you were kind of dipping into that stuff at that time. You had a certain group of friends that you hung out with quite a bit, but
I've been dipping into this stuff since I
well,
was
yes,
like 8. So,
but like I feel like you've kind of come into your own and really embraced it in the past a couple years.
yeah, your 40s do that for you.
Hey, I'm working. I'm working to that.
We'll get there.
It is what it is, and if people don't like it, I don't care anymore.
It is. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I think we all get to that point at some point. In our
Oh
lives.
yeah,
So
I think
once you reach the stage where you walk into a room and you wonder who you like instead of if they like you, it's a great feeling, girls.
Yeah,
It's time to get there.
I started to get there when I turned 30. That was when I was like, some of these people I'm hanging out with, I don't really care for.
And yet here I am. I made the cut.
Well, you're like the only one.
I made the cut. That made me think about my birthday was this past Saturday, and my sister posted on my Facebook page to tell me happy birthday, and she said, "I hope you have the day that someone else deserves. You know, someone nicer than us."
You're always saying, I hope you have the day you deserve, and I didn't want to say that. That sounds like a curse, man. We are not the nicest people ever.
I did have a very good day on my birthday.
See? We
I
had the
did.
day someone else deserved.
I did. My husband gave my middle child money and said, "Put this in a card that you made her." And he said, "Go get your nails done." And I left the house at like 10:30 that morning and went and got my nails done. And then I went and got my hair trimmed, and then drove 35 minutes to go get Starbucks and Krispy Kreme all by my little old self, and it was fantastic. It was very needed, and I am very appreciative of it. But okay, so back to tarot.
Back to tarot.
Sorry, I derail.
Yeah, well, that happens from time to time.
The best ways to use tarot, I guess, you can always go get a reading from a professional, or have a good family friend who reads the tarot for you and just says, "Sure, call me." In my personal practice, I typically do spreads at the new moon to see what I'm going to try to manifest during that lunar cycle. I do spreads at the full moon to see what needs to be released.
Fun fact: full moon's tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a full moon tonight.
And we can look at doing a full moon spread in a bit if you like. Sometimes I'll do like weekly readings, just a quick 3-card draw to see, maybe what the week has in store. Some people use the cards to ask yes or no conversations or yes or no questions, but I prefer to kind of pull them as more like a conversation and see where the conversation takes us. I don't often do the elaborate spreads like the Celtic Cross or any of the really pretty ones you see laid out, because that seems like a lot of extra artifice for me, and I typically like to keep things very, very practical. I think one of the things that holds people back from embracing who they want to be is because they think it has to look a certain way, and that is just not the way I roll. Everything can be completely practical. It doesn't have to be big, expensive, and ceremonial. It's life. I know people who pull cards on the daily, and sometimes that can get to be a bit excessive, but if you're going to pull cards on the daily, I like to pull maybe one and say, who do I need to be today? Not what do I need to know, not what's going to happen today. I don't tend to ask questions like that. I don't tend to ask yes or no questions. I tend to ask things like, who do I need to be today to handle what's going to come at me?
I like it. And I will say, I know not everyone that posts their shit on social media is legit, but the tarot spreads that I see like on TikTok, the ones that I like the most, the ones that I feel like get the point across better, are the ones that are just like as they're shuffling, picking a card that feels right, or a card flies out of the deck so that spirit wanted you to see that one, or something. They're not necessarily doing a 3-card draw, or
I'm kind of so OCD about the way I shuffle my cards and keep my cards. I don't often have reversals or cards flying out of the deck because I'm like, no, wait, that's mine. It's not supposed to. That's not how you do that.
I will say the tarot spreads on TikTok on my FYP on that algorithm, they hurt my feelings.
I don't get a lot of them. I get
That's
some,
a lot of my
and
FYP.
whenever I get them, I pay attention because I know, like, because I don't get them regularly. I'm just like, is this for me?
Is
Are
this
you
a
talking
present?
about me?
So, question. You and I discussed on the way over here. We were talking about how Brittany does have an oracle deck, and then you and I both have tarot decks. What is we kind of discussed the difference between tarot and oracle.
I don't know the difference.
So, you want to enlighten us on that?
There are people who are hardcore one direction or the other.
See, what does it say? Just for shits and giggles. She dropped a card, guys. She dropped a card.
That never happens.
She dropped one for shits and giggles.
That would have been the Magician, and the Magician is one of the major arcana cards, and he kind of presents, in the story of the Fool's Journey, he's one of the first people that you encounter. He is the first person that the Fool encounters. And he is the one who introduces the Fool to let him know that there's a world outside. It's kind of just a thing of, the Magician is new opportunities, new things that are being presented to you that you've never seen before.
I like it, because, see, and this is sitting at this table, that's going to mean something different to me and Brittany.
Yeah.
It'll mean something to me, and then mean something completely different to her.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this awesome.
The way that I typically read, and I don't necessarily go strictly by the guidebook every time, if I was to pull that one card, I typically won't put much stock into that one card. I'm going to draw another card and another card and see how they relate to each other. What I just laid out was the Ace of Pentacles, which is a new opportunity in the area of worldly goods, finances, material goods, home. I also drew the Four of Swords, I'm sorry. And the Four of Swords tells you to... Swords is all about your feelings, your thoughts, your feelings, and how they're affecting you. And the Four of Swords typically says, you might have said some things, you might have hurt someone's feelings. It's time to step back and reevaluate before more chaos comes. And I'm not entirely sure how those things fit together just yet.
In my brain, it makes total sense.
But I definitely pulled another card, and it came up as the Sun, which is a new beginning.
Can I just say that this right here is everything that has come up on my FYP for I could not tell you how long.
Well, this is kind of how I read. Like I was saying, I don't do like the big fancy elaborate, it goes in this shape and this card in this position means this. And I'm not discounting the people who do. It's just not as organic to conversation,
right,
as the way I like to play it.
But is this not everything that I've been sending you
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've been getting?
Yeah, she sends them. She sends almost every one to me.
No, you don't get every one. I promise you. It would never stop. At the risk of sounding like Rosie O'Donnell on her TikTok. TikTok, you don't stop with the tarot spreads for me.
But yeah, definitely with that Four of Swords, whatever it is that's going on, everyone needs to kind of take a step back and reevaluate before doing anything drastic.
You heard that?
Heard that. Heard. Oh, I just chipped my nail.
Way to go. And maybe if you didn't sit there and fuck with it.
We all know
That's
I
like
can't
me.
sit still.
I accidentally ripped one off earlier today.
See,
I
and
was
these are like
"Ew."
$35 gel nails, too.
No, mine
But
are.
you just got literally 6 days ago.
I know, I need to go get them redone already. My nails grow so fast.
Mine are literally. I painted them myself with Hollow Taco. The Julian Solomita collab.
Hello, Taka! I love it.
It's green. I love
it
it.
so much.
It's Monstera.
I remember when you got that.
Oh, I was so excited. I'm still excited.
I'm still excited.
Yeah, it's my favorite color.
That's not wrong. You have a lot of green.
Not in this
Not
room,
in
but
this room, but in there. Well, so she's done a mini spread. What about this full moon? Full moon drawing.
I can do that. This particular full moon, well, the full moon in general is a good time to look at what you need to release to go on living your best life.
And just to let you guys know, I'm putting it out there so that maybe y'all follow through with it. I have challenged myself to dance under the full moon for the entire year of 2023, and I'm going to video it and post it, and then at the end of the year, I'm going to stitch them all together, and it's going to be an awesome video. I just want to put that out there, so maybe I'll fall through.
you said it, now you have to do it.
It's out there. Toothpaste, can't take it back.
The Cancer full moon is the one we're actually currently in, and when this releases, it's going to release this week, yes. We will still be under the energy of the Cancer full moon because we will not yet have reached the last quarter. The Cancer full moon is about self-love, self-care, nurturing of yourself and nurturing others. So this particular Cancer full moon spread, the first card in this spread, like I said, I don't do them often, but my planner does have it, and just to plug my sources, this planner is from the Sisters Enchanted. They are a wealth of info on tarot, on simple witchcraft, on all kinds of witchy woo-woo things, and they are actually fantastic. They're easy to find, thesistersenchanted.com. This particular spread says, the first card says, how should I celebrate myself as I move into a new year? We've got the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about realizing what it is that you're putting all of your emotional energy into and evaluating whether or not it is worth the energy. You need to think about whether or not you want to keep beating your head against the wall, if it's worthwhile, or if you need to walk away. How can I express gratitude for things that I learned in this last year? Strength. If there is anything that these past couple of years have brought people, ladies, it's strength. We all know some new things that we didn't know a few years ago. The next card in the spread is going to be, how can I nurture myself? We have the Five of Wands, and this card is about, as we discussed before, the wands are, do you remember what you said, Chelsea?
Wands are associated with fire, work issues, and ambition.
Action. They're an action card. The Five of Wands, 5 is typically like a conflict point. So at the Five of Wands, you need to kind of slow down and figure out, everything's coming at you all at once. It's a bit of a barrier conflict type, and you need to figure out what's going where. So how can I nurture myself? Stop it. How can I nurture those around me? We've got the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is the guy who sits back and knows what he has gained. He knows what he's got. He thinks, logically. He looks at everything around him. And so to nurture others, at this point, I guess the King is telling us to look around at the things that have gone well and help others where we can. Help others see the benefits of not only creative action, but logical action. And see the things that you have benefited, and see if you can't spread some of that wisdom. The last card in the spread says, how can I nurture the world? The Three of Swords is what they call the Heartbreak card. And the Heartbreak card sounds terrible, but really what it's telling you is that you've had your feelings hurt. And while we acknowledge this and while it stinks, you can only move on from that. It's time to help the world move on. Stand up, keep going, start over.
I like it. It gives you definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Again, if we're talking about what to release, then definitely you're going to release some of that getting your feelings hurt. You're going to release some of that emotional labor.
See, and what I like about it is that, like I said, it's going to mean something when she does a reading for me. Well, you and I both are sitting here listening to this reading, and I'm going to interpret it one way.
And I'll interpret it totally different.
Because we have different things going on in our own lives. And tarot to me is not so much, the way I explained it to my oldest, is that it's not so much that, in the way I believe, I don't want to say practice because I don't practice shit, but the way I believe is that the cards, it's kind of like a chance thing. The cards are going to speak up and tell you something, and then you're going to interpret it how you want to interpret it. And it's suggestion. It's telling you this is what you might want to look for, and you interpret it how you feel like is going to be relevant to your life, and figure it out. It's not, this is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not a promise. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah. It's not like a roadmap to...
Right. I mean, do you agree with that?
Well, one of the reasons that I like doing tarot spreads, or tarot readings rather, for the individual rather than just the collective, and I do collective readings sometimes, but the reason that I think you can get so much more out of a personal reading than just a collective generic reading is because, since, as you said, this is going to mean something specific to Brittany versus Chelsea, then if I'm reading specifically for Brittany, then Brittany and I can talk about, okay, so, here's what I see. How do you feel about that? And I will tell you 100% of the time, if you give me a little something when we're talking about that, I will know better what questions to ask. I will know, be able to interpret the next card better. As I said, the cards do have meanings, but the reason you go to somebody who has a little bit of experience is because they're also using their intuition to read the cards. And if I'm doing it for a person specifically, we can talk about what you're getting out of it and go further in a different direction rather than just, but you're absolutely right. It'll mean something entirely different to you than it will her.
Absolutely. It makes so much sense to me that my sister of all people have picked this up and gotten so good at it. Because my entire life, she's 10 years older than me.
So what you're saying is I'm the mom friend.
No. But yes and no.
Yes.
My whole life it's been, I'm having this issue. I need advice. Let me call my sister. Growing up, I spent, after my sister, grew up and moved out and whatnot, I spent a lot of time at her house. I spent
every other night.
It was almost like she got a divorce and I was the child in the divorce. I was like there every other weekend, if not every weekend.
During the summertime, you were literally there every other night.
Right. My first summer job was watching your oldest child. Babysitting him.
And babysitting me before he was born.
This is true, too. This is true. But, I'd call her and be like, hey, I'm having this issue. Here's what's going on. I need to know what you think I should do. And, she'd tell me, and I don't always listen.
I was going to say, Brittany backed me up here. She's been asking me these questions for how long and how many times has she actually listened to what I said?
I never said I always listen.
That's what little sisters do, though.
That's what we do.
As a big sister who gets asked the questions.
I don't always listen. I hear you, but I don't necessarily listen, and that's a character flaw for me because that goes around because I do the same shit to Brittany. She'll be like, "Well, here's what I think you should do," and I'll be like, "Nah."
Yeah.
I hear you, but what we're not going to do is. But it does. It makes a lot of sense that this is something that you would be big into. And I just realized we did not discuss the fact that you have somewhat of a following on the Facebook. You have a group out there. It's called Motherly Mundane. What is it?
Magically Mundane.
There it is. Magically Mundane.
My now nearly defunct Facebook page that I just haven't devoted any time to lately.
She started out strong.
I did.
But if you guys want to look her up, Go give her some love out there. Maybe it'll kind of get her to get back out there on it. Who knows?
My weekly readings there used to hurt people's feelings too.
Yeah, but she's helped a lot of people there as well, and that's kind of how she's gotten to where she is now, because that really got her into researching and getting into it and whatnot. And
well, that page
figuring it
started out as me chronicling everything that I was going down a rabbit hole and researching as I was stepping into my witchy self, I guess.
Right.
Stepping into being who I wanted to be instead of just who society wanted me to be.
So here's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna challenge her a little bit.
Freaking hate.
She hates my deck because it does not go by the same rules that hers does.
I always have to think about what suit because your suits aren't the same. It's not pinnacles.
Well, here's my handy dandy little guidebook if you'd like to look at it. But I'm gonna draw a couple cards just for shits and giggles. This looks like the pattern on the back of these looks like vaginas or the female reproductive system.
Well, what do you want me to do
I
about
just
it?
realized it really does. This is a reoccurring thing in my life. I've got a pillowcase that has.
It's called Damask. It's rather gothic. But leave it to you. Yeah.
It's got to be a disorder where you see vaginas in everything you look at.
Right?
A disorder? I feel like that's offensive.
Well, no. It's like
Block
the
test.
the thing where
Rorschach ink blot test.
yeah, or like there is a disorder where like you look at
I'm a
things
feminist, bitch.
and you see but you see faces and everything. There's got to be something similar for vaginas or penises.
I'm a feminist. That's what it is. All things relate to women.
There we go.
Women are beautiful.
Very
Women
true.
are beautiful. This is not.
Especially this little black one over here sitting next to me, the kitty.
It's a cat.
She's a kitty.
It's a cat. Yeah. This is me coming out to tell everybody the women are beautiful.
My chair is very squeaky, so if it sounds like I'm farting, I'm not. I promise.
She's not, because we've been friends for how long, and I've never heard it happen in my presence.
Get over it.
Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards, or do you want to pull them?
Go for it.
All right, I'll pull a couple cards and see what she's got to say. First one. So we're just gonna do like a and I know you said you'd rather do one-on-one, but we're just gonna do like a collective reading to see what we need to be seeing, see what my deck has to say. So the first one that I pulled is gonna be this one.
Death. Well, that's easy. At least it's a direct translation there. Death is not actually about death. Death is about releasing something to make room for something else. It's about the thing that you have to let go to make room for the new things in your life. It's not necessarily a person or literal death. It's like making room for something new.
Okay, so just to cross-reference here, my little guidebook says it's a tarot card of transformation and transition, beginnings and endings. Like the creaky old gates in Halloween Town Cemetery, the Death Tarot card is a spooky symbol of change and transformation. My deck does the upright reversed. I think I pulled it reversed, but it doesn't matter. But
It's staring at me dead on. I didn't.
Well,
flip it.
I flipped it because I know you don't read reversals.
When you quote unquote read reversals, all that means is that it's like the
Backwards meaning of whatever it is, basically.
basically.
Got you. But yeah, it's basically saying that you're going through a powerful transition. Whatever sort of big change is happening in your life, embrace it because it will eventually lead to bigger and better things. Cha-ching! Another one. All right, the next card, I'm just going to pull like 3 or 4 here. The next one I got is the Two of Needles, it says.
What did we decide that the suit was? Needles is equivalent to swords?
I feel like possibly. Hold on. I am looking her up in my guidebook. Presents needles. So the needles in my guidebook says Two of Needles
If we decided that was swords, that's what I need to know. Did we decide it was swords or wands?
I don't remember.
If it's swords, then we decided that it is, it's a choice that you have to make. It asks you if you're going to make the choice that you know that you need to, or if you are going to continue to remain blind to what you know to be true.
Okay. So this says, something heavy's on your mind. You've been racking your brain over a predicament, trying to come up with a solution that benefits everyone involved. Make sure you're seeing things as they really are. You need all the facts before you can make up your mind. Does that kind of go with what you got going on?
Well, if it's wands, then wands is a crossroad. Again, a decision you have to make, because that's the two thing.
Right.
That's where the two comes in. But wands is, if you're going to choose to go in a new direction or remain on the current course. So really, twos are more just about a decision to make. Whereas swords is a little more active. Are you going to make this choice and do the thing? And wands is more about just making the choice.
Gotcha. So the next one that I draw is the High Priestess. It's got a picture of Sally on it. It's one of my favorite cards because it's beautiful.
The High Priestess just lets you know that you have the power inside you. You have everything you need inside you to do whatever it is that you think you need to do.
This says, Sally's perceptive and observant nature perfectly captures the energy of the High Priestess card. The High Priestess is an intuitive visionary who's tuned into what's really going on under the surface. Just as Sally's vision of a burning Christmas tree holds a dire warning about Jack's plans, the appearance of this card is a suggestion to beware. Situations in your own life may not be what they appear. Check in with your intuition and trust your instincts to connect with the truth.
Yep.
So,
Trust you got it inside you.
so does anybody else see a pattern with everything that we've pulled tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I'm just gonna quietly sit here in the corner because I'm pretty cool with none of it applying to me. Actually.
I really just want to express the fact that this deck is absolutely gorgeous.
It really is.
Have you looked through it?
The
No.
only, like I said, the only thing that bothers me in the slightest about that deck is that, you talked about the Rider-Waite decks.
Right.
And the clone decks and stuff. And it loosely follows the system, but it has different, it doesn't have pentacles and swords and wands and cups. It has needles and presents and...
It's got candles and needles, presents and potions.
And I can never really... I'm pretty sure that potions are cups and presents are pentacles. But I just can't really ever remember which is that it's trying to say, honestly.
Yeah, the artwork on these is really...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. There's days that I go through and I just stare at them.
I will say, for any of your listeners out there who are aiming to learn to read tarot, you can get decks out there for a little bit of nothing. The decks do typically come with a guidebook, but if you do not plan to go straight out of the guidebook and you want to look around and do your research on all of the sources, because everything's on the internet these days, a Rider Smith Waite or a clone deck that follows the same system is probably your best bet for a first one, just because the majority of the information that's out there says pentacles, swords, wands,
Right.
cups.
Don't be fooled by all the fancy themes and stuff that's on them, because you don't really need anything super fancy. I will say that there is a deck on Amazon that is supernatural themed, like the TV show Supernatural, for like $35, and
I want it just to have it.
Right. I don't necessarily know that I'll ever actually use it because I am so connected with these, but man.
Yeah, I just, like I said, if you're going to learn, sometimes you want to look at one of the more typical decks just so you have the information out there.
And if you were out somewhere and you see a deck that is like the gates of heaven have opened and the light is shining on that deck, buy them right now.
Buy it
and don't be like, I'll find them somewhere else.
No.
Because my mother has done that, and we have yet to be able to find those.
Really?
Yeah, Mom found some at Spencer's that she was really just one. She went shopping with your oldest and found a deck that she said it was like the light was just emanating.
But I found that deck on Amazon for her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she never bought them. Not to call you out, Mom. Sorry. Not that she even listens. They just took a whole trip and didn't listen to a single episode, and they ain't listened to any of it. It's great support. Great support.
But seriously, sometimes aren't you okay with that?
No, it's okay. We both know that I don't hold secrets. They know everything.
Girl.
She gonna be like, you kiss your mama with that mouth?
All the time. Every chance I get. But yeah. You got anything else for us? Is that all you got?
Nothing exciting. You guys got any questions for me?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think the only question I have is like, what is like, because I don't know if we ever answered it, but Oracle.
Oracle, the difference between tarot and Oracle.
Yes.
Tarot, actually, as I said, it follows that story. It follows the basic guideline of this card means this card means this card means this. And you kind of get to learn that. And the card itself doesn't say, hey, you know, you're going through some chaos right now and everything will come together in the end. It says the Tower card.
Yeah.
Whereas the Oracle deck doesn't follow any rules. It doesn't have to follow any rules. None of them are the same as the other one. Somebody made an Oracle deck that said exactly what they wanted that Oracle deck to say, and there is the rules. That's it. That's all.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense because I have a couple of different Oracle decks, and they're very different.
Yeah.
So that kind of
Every single Oracle deck, pretty much, that you find is going to be exactly what was on the artist's mind the day they designed it. Period. Done. The end. Finished.
yeah. Wow.
There you go.
That answers my question.
There you go. All right. Well, I think that is all that we have for you guys tonight. We are running out of time.
Yeah, we've just got a couple minutes left.
But we want to thank Brandi for coming out and doing an episode with us. And we might have her back on in the future. Who knows? But definitely look her up on the Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll
link the Facebook group in our
if she's cool with that.
Yeah, in our notes or on our Facebook. You'll find it.
We're not forcing it. I'm forcing it.
I was going to say, you totally are. Baby sister always gets her way.
I'm not going to dispute that, but I feel attacked. But yeah, thanks.
Attacked or called out?
I feel seen. But thanks for coming. We've enjoyed it. We appreciate you. It's always a good time when I get to spend one-on-one time with my sister. But yeah. Find us out there, guys, on the Facebook, Wanderers of Weird. We're on Twitter at Wanderers Pod.
Yeah.
We are also on the TikTok.
Yeah, we still don't know about Instagram.
I found it.
Did you?
I did. I got into it, so we'll start being more active on the Instagram when I can remember to do so. I'm really bad at it. But yeah, guys, we'll find us out there. Rate us. Leave us reviews. Share us out. Let everybody know. Let us know what you're thinking. Send us emails. Give us ideas for topics that you guys want to hear. Wanderers of Weird at gmail.com.
Yep.
We're pretty responsive on it when we do get emails. We want to know what you guys think. But share us out. Get us out there. We're almost to 300 downloads, guys.
I know. I'm so excited.
We're almost there. I think when I looked earlier, it was at 277.
Yeah, that's what it was this morning.
As of right now, we are looking at... Sorry. Pause for dramatic effect. 280. We're at 280 right now, guys, and we really appreciate. Again, we like that you think we're entertaining.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you so much. We do get reviews in person, but we appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Bye.